Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. The mini multi-tool, the tool that every practically minded red-blooded bloke should carry around in their pocket. We got 3 of them in this video and we're going to compare them and provide you with a recommendation on which one is the best. Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel, guys. So it's a little life tip today that these multi-mini tools that you can carry around in your pockets or put on your key rings come in really handy for all those times in life where you're just trying to do something. You might be out and about or not in your home or not near a tool, and you just need an improvised tool that could solve the problem for you. And these things have lots of little tools built into them that can solve those problems. And once you've owned one, you will pretty much have one for life, in my opinion. So in this video, we're looking at 3 different offerings that have all got different qualities that we're going to talk about, and try and give you the recommendation on which one I would pick and want to own. The 3 tools that we have in this test. First up, the True Utility Cliptool, costing £7.99 with a 2-year warranty. After that, we have the Gerber Dime, costing £21.49 with a 25-year warranty in Europe. And finally, we have the Leatherman PS4 Squirt, costing £44.79 and also coming with a 25-year guarantee. Next up, the weights and measurements. The True Utility weighs 101 grams and is 8 centimetres long, so it's the biggest and heaviest in this test. Next up is the Gerber Dime, which is 62 grams and 6.9 centimetres long. And finally, the lightest and most compact tool in the test is the Leatherman Squirt PS4, which is 56 grams and 5.7 centimetres long. Next up, I actually want to cover the amount of tools that are on this thing. So in last place is the True Utility, which claims 7 tools, but I actually count as 8. You have the needle nose pliers, the main pliers and the cutters. So there's 3 tools in one that the other claim, and this has it. It also has the knife, a file, a bottle opener, a flathead screwdriver and a crosshead screwdriver. So I make that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tools on this particular offering. In second place with the utility and the amount of tools is the Leatherman Squirt. It claims 9 tools and I count 9 tools as well. Again, 3 tools on the pliers, the needle nose, the main pliers, the cutters, the Phillips screwdriver, the flathead screwdriver, the bottle opener, scissors, a knife, a file with 2 different sides, maybe one for metal and one for wood. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tools on here. And the winner with a claimed 12 tools that I actually count as 11, I'll explain why in a second, is the Gerber Dime. It has the Phillips style single blade screwdriver, the improvised Phillips if you like, the dual-sided file, the flathead screwdriver, the scissors, a letter opener, a knife, tweezers that you pull out, a bottle opener, and then 3 tools on the pliers, the cutters, the main plier grips and the needle nose pliers. They also claim this little loop attachment as a tool, but the other ones don't, where they have attachments, so I'm not claiming that on this one. So 11 tools, but the most amount of tools in this particular test, so it's first in the utility category. Next up, guys, I just did some practical tests of comparing the tools that they both shared, so I could do a like-for-like comparison, and those are the sort of common tools that you'll typically use more than the other one. The first one is the crosshead, or the Phillips style screwdriver. Simply took a small wood screw and used these tools to screw them in, see which ones I could torque up, see which ones fitted the nicest. In third place, guys, trying to do the Phillips screws was the Leatherman's Squirt. Now, both the Leatherman Squirt and the Gerber use an improvised flathead kind of cut pointed tool that's, you know, it's not a proper cross-headed screwdriver, but that allows it to fit and slide into the handle, so it is an improvised tool. The reason that the Leathermans didn't do very well is because the tool was the smallest, the head of it, so it was just slipping off the little screw that I had there. It would have worked better on a smaller one, but the Gerber one has a slightly bigger you know, head to the tool, if you like, so it could cope with smaller ones and work with the screw that I was trying there. So it is a simple comparison, you know, and it's just the size that's affected the Leathermans, but we'll go with it. So the Leathermans came third, the Gerber came second. The True Utility has a proper Phillips screwdriver on there. The quality of it isn't great, but it worked the best, and I could torque up that screw properly with this. So it was the clear winner in this very simple test with the Phillips screwdrivers. Next up, guys, is just the flathead screws. In last place was the True Utility. Its flat-headed screwdriver it has a tiny flat section on the top, so you almost have to use the long face of the bottle opener for it to work. It wasn't particularly effective twisting these flathead screws, so it came third. In next place was the Gerber Dime, which has a better, wider, flatter head, so I could actually turn this, but when it got to the stage where it started to stiffen, it slips out. It's a little bit thin, this one, and tapered, and it kind of slips out, so I couldn't torque it. The best of all three tightening up the flathead screwdrivers was the Leatherman's Squirt. It just seemed to get that bite, and I could torque it up more, and it was the best at doing the flathead screws. Next up is the test of the pliers, guys. I was just grabbing hold of a nail that I'd hammered in there and seeing if I could pull it out. In third place was the Leatherman's, just a smaller tool that I couldn't quite get as much torque on. Still a decent pair of pliers on this, and you can still torque it, but you don't get the leverage because it's small. So that was one compromise with it. So it was the hardest one to pull the nail out of, but it's still a very good pair of pliers on this, actually. In second place was the Gerber Dime, where similar to the Leatherman's, not much in it, but I just felt I could squeeze a bit harder, and I managed to get the nail out where I couldn't with the other one. So it just did a little bit better on the nail test. But in third place, the extra sort of size and length you get on the handle of this means you can really kind of squeeze harder, and it was much easier to get the nail out with the pliers. So the pliers are very good on this True Utility tool. So that did the best on the nail test. Next up, guys, the wire cutters. I simply use these to cut a medium bit of wire that you'd expect a pair of wire cutters to be able to cut. In third place, the Gerber Dime, it couldn't cut the wire, it was just bending it. In second place, the True Utility, it could cut the wire without too much problem, but after I cut it the first time, it's burred the cutters, and it's not a particularly thick bit of wire, and now the tool sort of, when I use the pliers, it stays in position now instead of automatically releasing, because I've just burred it a little bit. So the quality of the metal perhaps in the cutters isn't as good to be. It's been just, you know, it's just sort of deteriorated almost on first use, but it still cuts well. And in first place, sorry, was the Leatherman's PS4 Squirt. This just snips through those wires beautifully. The cutters don't get damaged when they snip them, and it's the best pair of cutters out of all of these three, quite simply. Next test was just looking at the knives, guys, and just hacking into the bit of wood and holding them and seeing what's good. In third place, the True Utility. The knife on it is a bit short and stubby, and kind of the curve on it, it wants to slide off what you're cutting. Fine for boxes and stuff like that, guys, but the main thing is as well that the blade is a lot blunter on this, so the knife just didn't feel as effective a tool as the other ones, but it still works. In next place was the Gerber Dime, where the knife was a lot sharper, it's sturdy, there's a good shape to it. It would be quite a little good knife, this. You could use it for lots of different things. It's quite safe, it's quite a good blade, but it's just not as sharp and nice as the blade that is on the Leatherman's. That you get the full kind of length of this blade and then just a little tip on the end. I think that's the best shape of blade, and it also feels the sharpest and the best quality. Next up, guys, is the metal and wood files that are on these tools. In last place is the Gerber Dime. They've simply chosen a very short tool. They've put it on the little posi driver, Phillips driver, and you've literally got 1 centimetre of file, and that means you're tiny like this. You wouldn't want to use this to try and file out of your prison cell, in prison break, because you'd be there for like 20 years. It's short. The longer the file, the better. In second place, the True Utility. You only get one type of file on this, and I believe that's the metal file where you've got the two sides going. The problem is they put it on a bottle opener, so you don't get the full flat face, but you do get a lot more than you do on the Gerber, so you can get a little bit more of a run and actually file away stuff. So the file kind of worked. But without shadow of a doubt, the best file, guys, is the one that is on the Leatherman. It's a dedicated long file, and it works. You can feel it feels like a proper file. The other ones are really quite smooth. You can actually feel it burring away and wearing out the metal when you use it on the metal and getting into the wood. It's a much better quality file on there. In fact, perhaps the only usable one out of all three, really. Next up, I want to give you an overall rating on the quality of these tools. In third place, guys, it's the True Utility. All of the metal components that they've used in here, and all of the, in the handle and all the blades, they have sharp edges, and you feel it when you're using the tool and opening the tool. It's really sharp on the hands. As I mentioned earlier on, the Phillips, if you look at the kind of, I'll overlay a close-up, the actual way they've machined the head of the Phillips, it's all kind of skewed and a little bit wonky. All of the blades and tools that you've got to pull out this tool are extremely stiff, and even putting a little bit of kind of lubrication on there doesn't seem to affect it. And folding and opening the blades, there's no, it doesn't snap into place. It's all quite heavy. So I think it's fair to say, although this costs a lot less money, you can actually see the reduction in quality from the other tools that I'm going to talk about. The next up in quality for me, guys, is the Gerber Dime. Better than the True Utility in that sense. Just when you open the tool up, it opens a little bit easier, and everything kind of snaps into place. The tool feels slightly better on the hands, and all the actual components of the tool, like the knives, etc., the backs of them are just a little bit less sharp and rounded off, so it feels better in your hand. It looks like it's slightly higher quality, and perhaps the 25-year guarantee will reflect that. The quality isn't perfect on this, guys, though. There is still a slight sharpness to it, but much better than the True Utility. But it's also, as you try and fold the tool back in, there's a little bit of play on it, and sometimes that causes the pliers to kind of catch as it goes in, so it doesn't all pop back in together perfectly. There's a bit of rub. Also, when you open up these tools, this one in particular, it's a little bit stiffer, and you see what's going on in the camera there. That sharp bit rubs over the painted surface of the tool and actually rips through the paint system and shows you bare metal, and overlay a close-up shot so you can see it. So some people will say, well, there's a bit of wear and tear on the tool, but it's got a lovely painted finish on this when you get it, and the first time you open it up, or the first few times, you're going to start damaging that finish, and that's a little quality issue that I can pick up on. So there's just some tiny little quality issues on this, but overall it's a higher quality tool than the True Utility, in my opinion. In first place, guys, on quality is definitely the Leatherman Squirt. Everything it's easier to move, and the way things click into place, the tool always just goes straight back, and it's aligned properly and fits together properly. And I talked about the rounded edges on the backs of the tool, so there isn't like a sharp feel. These definitely feel the best, like they've actually sort of taken the time to round off the tools so they're not sharp in your hand or on your pocket, on the back edges of those tools, which I think is important. There's just no play in this, and for me it feels the highest quality, and it is the highest quality without a shadow of a doubt. Even they've compressed everything more than these other tools, but you can still really get some torque on these pliers. They're quite decent, but they line up perfectly, and they kind of, like I say, there's no play in them. This Leatherman Squirt PS4 is definitely the highest quality of all three offerings. So the overall conclusions on this, guys, in reverse order of how I rate these tools, factoring in price and factoring everything I've talked about. In third place, it's the True Utility. What's cool about this is it's still quite a sturdy tool, and it costs £7.50. So it's a real cheap one, and it's functional, and the pliers are very good on it as well. The things I've talked about, the quality isn't quite there with how it feels in your hand. It's a lot heavier than the others. It's a lot longer. It's just a lot stiffer to use, and and especially when you're using the pliers, you can get the tip of the Phillips digging into your hand a little bit, and when it's in your pocket, you can feel the extra weight, and that little clip that's protruding that I would want to clip on my kind of key ring, it's gonna dig into you if you kind of bang on stuff, and it's just perhaps beyond the size of what I want from a compact multi-mini tool. But it was great to get a low value one in this test, but it's my least kind of favourite. In second place, where there's a big jump up, I think, in quality, and you get a lot more tools, it looks better, it's properly compact, is the Gerber Dime. I like the fact that it's got lots of tools on there, the extra tweezers, the box opener instead of a full-on knife might be useful to a lot of people in the kind of jobs where you're kind of whipping open boxes and stuff. It's safer than using a knife and perhaps cutting through. Although, you know, some people will just say, oh, a knife's good enough for me. But I quite like that packing knife. There is a slight drop in quality from this over the one that wins, in my opinion, but it is half the price. One thing I don't like is the bottle opener that extrudes from the handle, because it just makes the tool an extra centimetre long, and that can kind of catch. You feel it on your hands, and you kind of catch when it's in your pocket and you're pulling stuff out. I think you could put the bottle opener on one of the screwdrivers like some of the other tools have done and get an even smaller tool. But this one, there's a jump up in desirability for me, and I still quite like the tool. The 25-year warranty is nice. There are some little small signs of quality issues and alignment and a bit of play in it that you don't get on the Leathermans. But overall, pretty pleased with this. It's an option if you don't want to spend the £44 on the Leathermans, but we'll go on to that now. The overall winner for me, guys, because the Gerber Dime and this both come with 25-year warranties, they're basically tools for life. That's why I think I would go for this one. It's the little things, just using it every single time, the way everything pops open, the feel of the tool, the fact there's no play in it, the fact it all clips together well, the fact that each individual tool, the file is a proper high quality one, the knife is a little bit sharper, everything's rounded off. This is just the best multi-mini tool out of these three, in my opinion. It's the one that I would want to have attached to my keys. And I've got this tool now for life, and it's going to come in really, really handy. So that is the Leatherman Squirt PS4. This is a really cool little thing. And like I said at the sort of start and title of this video, this is the tool that every practically minded red-blooded male should have on their keyring, because it will come in handy in so many situations. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Thought I'd do something a little bit from detailing. Really enjoyed looking at these tools. Let me know if you're a tool carrier and you've got any kind of recommendations on all this sort of stuff. But these are really, really handy. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon on the Forensics Detailing channel. Bye for now.